What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back, and from the post-millennial, Alex Stein sues to have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez unblock him from Twitter. I love AOC and hope she can find it in her heart to unblock me, he says. So we all know Alex Stein as notorious troll, talking about his wife's boyfriend, trolling town halls, showing up as a transformer swimmer. I found him ages ago when he was shopping with a Zorro mask at Target at the beginning of the hysteria, and he's absolutely hilarious. Of course, trolling AOC outside of the Capitol, I believe, his favorite big booty Latina, all of that stuff. But I believe this is a pretty serious thing, right? So he's totally a comedian. He is, I believe, as he would say, committed to the bit at all times. But this is true. This is a real thing. This is a serious thing. And it makes sense. He does have a good point here as far as I can see. Comedian Alex Stein filed a lawsuit against New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on Wednesday for blocking him on Twitter, citing a federal court case from 2019 that felt Donald Trump, when he was president, violated constitutional rights of those he blocked on Twitter, according to CNBC. I love and care about this country so much, Stein told the Post-Millennial, that I am able to put aside my political differences and try to come to the table with all politicians, especially AOC, because we align on more things than she probably thinks, and I want to be able to communicate with her through Twitter because it's the modern-day digital town hall, and political free speech is the most important protected speech, in my opinion. Yeah, so Alex Stein, well, as silly as he is quite obviously a really smart dude, right? He's what they call culture jamming, right? So throwing all of their insanity right back in their face. Mark Dice does it a little bit too, and it's a great way to get things done. It's a great way to call out the insanity. I love AOC and hope she can find her heart to unblock me. Okay, they already mentioned that. That's part of the headline. But CNBC reports that after the ruling in the case against Trump, Ocasio-Cortez settled a case with Dov Hikind, a former Brooklyn assemblyman whom she had blocked on Twitter. She also apologized to Hikind, who she blocked after he had posted several critical responses to some of her tweets. Yeah, and that's what happens with these people. They cannot have the discussion, right? They will not, because they know that none of their ideas will work when examined even the tiniest bit. That's why they shout you down. That's why they want to censor you, right? We see censorship on so many levels, right? They're putting flags on everything now. Even if you mention J6, they put a little flag on your YouTube video. If you mention the word climate, they put a little flag on your video. If you mention the reset, they put a little flag on your video, because you are not allowed to talk to those things without consulting your big tech overlords who know what you should be thinking, right? They know better than you. You are not allowed to have an opinion outside of, and it's not even that mainstream. Most people can see right through it, but they're forcing it like they always do, trying to put a square peg into a round hole. And that's why they're forcing the censorship. That's why they're forcing your thoughts. And that's why in places like New York, they don't care to control your physical actions. They don't care if you steal, mob a Chinese restaurant, push people onto the tracks. They don't care about any of that, because those people are still clearly controlled in their way of thinking, right? Because when you're acting like that, it's clear that your head is not on straight and you can be manipulated. Anyhow, it continues. In 2021, the U.S. Supreme Court reversed the ruling against Trump because by then he was a private citizen. The Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said Trump's blocks on Twitter were First Amendment violations and were predicated on his status as president. Stein's case, which he fined in a U.S. District Court in Washington, will invoke Trump case, but will not have the precedent to rely upon. So he might not win this one, right? But he does make a good point. But it doesn't matter, because the corruption goes all the way up to the top, and Alex Stein is obviously, he's not what they need. So there's nobody that will shoot it straight. Maybe a Texas judge, maybe a Florida judge, but there's nobody in that establishment who's going to say, you know what, I don't agree. I don't agree with what this guy is saying, but he has a point. That's never going to happen. They're never going to say, you know what, it's not my view, but it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like they can never just admit to being wrong, even in the slightest. So you can say, you know what, I don't agree with your views on this, but you have a point. It will never happen, because they always hollow out the middle ground, just like they hollow out the middle class, right? On July 13th, 2022, Ocasio-Cortez blocked Stein after he heckled her on the steps of the Capitol building and said, "My favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that." I love it. My favorite. AOC, nice to meet you. Look how sexy she looks in that dress. And he knew what he was doing at that point. That was going to get so many clicks, so many views, incredibly viral that day. Stein went on to say, "Hot, hot, hot like a tamale." The congresswoman posted video from the encounter and said she was going to deck Stein, but not before initially seeming flattered by the comments. And then here's a tweet from her back on that day, I believe. "I posted about a deeply disgusting incident that happened today on the Capitol steps, but took it down because it's clearly someone seeking extremist fame." Yeah, naturally. If you don't agree with me, you're an extremist. That's par for the course. Stein's suit said Ocasio-Cortez blocked Stein in retaliation to Mr. Stein's exercise of his First Amendment right because earlier that day, Mr. Stein, in the context of political commentary and satire, complimented Ms. Cortez. The suit, there's a typo here, post-millennial, also said Mr. Stein has a constitutional right to access Mrs. Cortez's Twitter account as part of vigorous public comments and criticism, and Ms. Cortez's practice of blocking Twitter users she disagrees with is unconstitutional, and the suit seeks to redress this wrong. Recently, Stein declared he was running for a school board role in Texas to fight radical gender ideology. And yeah, he should run for something. These are the type of people we need, I think, because of course he is hilarious, but he's also incredibly smart. So I think we need more guys like Alex Stein. Shout out Alex Stein. He follows me on Instagram. You should also follow me on Instagram. And AOC, of course, is a completely control. She pretends like she's anti-establishment, like she's fighting for the little person, which is obviously untrue. She's going to be Nancy Pelosi, right? I'm sure back in the day, Nancy Pelosi probably stood for something and was really, a go-getter. But by the time she's 90 years old, Crypt Keeper Pelosi, she's just, insider trading and destroying the country for her own benefit. And that's exactly where AOC is headed, even though right now she's pretending to be anti-establishment with her whole squad thing. But she will play the game 100%, just like Bernie Sanders, all millionaires, billionaires, Hillary Clinton. But then he goes out there and advocates for Joe Biden because they're all completely controlled. And if you are not completely controlled, you will be raked over the coals like Tulsi Gabbard, even Andrew Yang. The list goes on and on and on. So shout out Alex Stein. Shout out this lawsuit, which I don't think he will win, but hopefully he wins a seat on a Texas school board, even though I don't think he has kids. Neither here nor there. Alex Stein is a legend, smart dude, hilarious comedian. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe.